Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Evan's Book Review channel. Now, today I have something a little bit different and a little bit special for you guys. So, I will be reviewing none other than I Heard You Paint Houses. Now, this is written by Charles Brandt, and this particular paperback is a special edition where Brandt actually added a new foreword and a new conclusion. But another fun fact about this is in 2019, Netflix will be making a series based on this book. Now, you're probably asking why? What's so special about this? And the answer to that is this might be the most probable explanation to what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. Now, I know a lot of people will disagree. A lot of people might back up and crawfish out of that explanation. But I went into this book being 100% skeptical, knowing what I know about the Hoffa case and the background, and having read a couple of different books and sources having to do with this, thinking that just a normal English professor in Charles Brandt would get linked up with a big time mafia figure and all of a sudden get him to just admit to this great mystery that the FBI and numerous other sources have put lots of money and time into and could not solve. I was very ready to tear this book apart by its sheer lack of evidence and sources to back up his claim. I really thought it was going to be a first-hand account of what this person said on his deathbed, but actually, as I read it, I got more and more intrigued and kind of impressed because the information is presented in a logical and sound way. His sources seem to be very credible, and all of the information that is given to him by Frank Sheeran, who is the main character of this book and the mafia figure that he interviewed for a course of years, seems to be really legitimate. There are a couple of off-the-wall things that he claims that he has done or taken part in, but other than that, it really is an impressive piece of literature. It makes me think that this might be the closest we're going to get to an explanation as to some of the things that might have happened to Jimmy Hoffa. It doesn't outright say exactly what happened, and, well, that's kind of the point. Sheeran basically says, this is what I know about it, and take it for what it is. But I think his explanation is very plausible, and if he didn't have a direct hand in it, I could see it happening pretty much the way that he explains it, even if he wasn't involved. The other really interesting thing about this book is while I got drawn into it and really started to enjoy it, didn't think it could get any more interesting, Brandt manages to link not only the Hoffa case, but also Frank Sheeran to the death of JFK. Now, again, this is one of the off-the-wall explanations and stories that I was mentioning that take it for what you will, but I gotta say, again, knowing as much as I do about the JFK case, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually how some of it went down. I'm not going to give anything away because, well, you've got to read the book to find it out. But it's something that I can't just shake a stick at and say that it didn't happen. Now, obviously, the point of writing this book for Charles Brandt was to introduce believable stories and credible information, and I think he did that very well. Again, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, it has a lot of pictures, which is nice, but it ruins the flow of the book, in my opinion. It's cool to be able to see background and kind of see the people and get to know them, but again, this book, like every other book that puts pictures, puts them right in the middle of the book. So it kind of gets in the way, and then you get off track of what you're supposed to be doing, and I get in this battle with myself. Do I finish this paragraph, or do I skip this paragraph and look at the pictures, then go back, or do I finish the whole book, then look at the pictures? Maybe other people don't have that problem, but it bugs me. So, again, not a knock on the content of the book at all, and like I said, the pictures are cool, but it does kind of ruin the flow for me a little bit. That this is going to be a Netflix documentary, or show, I should say, is impressive. I think it lends a little bit more credibility to everything that the author and Frank Sheeran has said. Now, Frank Sheeran did pass away, and some of the things he said were close to his deathbed confessions, if you will. But like I mentioned, I think I generally believe everything that is said in this book, or at least close to everything. The sources check out from the little bit of research I could do, but hey, it's in a book. It's not on the internet, so you can trust it. But everything is laid out in a really good format, and if nothing else, it's a good story about a high-level mafia figure working with the Teamsters, and that's something that I didn't know a lot about at all. Being younger, I wasn't alive, and really my dad wasn't really around either when the Teamsters were a big thing. So I didn't really know anything about this prior to reading this book. I knew Jimmy Hoffa was a big figure in it. I knew some shady stuff happened, and probably that the mafia was involved. But really, I think where this book shines is its detail descriptions of how the Teamsters and the unions worked. It really shed a lot of light, for me at least, on how these enterprises came to be and why the mafia was tied in with it. So I think the big takeaway from this book is that it's an awesome background, at least a start, for people who are interested in the mafia and the Teamsters and how they interacted and what they did together or what they didn't do, as they would put it. But the other thing is, the caveat, I guess, to this book is it also has a very plausible explanation to what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. The links that he makes and the correlations that are presented in the book are all of sound theory, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not a detective or an FBI agent, and you would think that they would have uncovered all of this information as well, but maybe not. No one else has proved anything or been able to show any other facts, and like I said, this makes sense to me. So going into this book, I was skeptical, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but it was really good. It's 366 pages. That is front to back, basically, including your epilogue and conclusion. And you also are looking at about $11.55 on Amazon Prime if you wanted to order this book, which I say go ahead and get it. It was a good read. And since I didn't spoil anything, you'll find out a lot of information that you weren't aware about. So, hey, I think it's a good read. It's interesting. And as is kind of the new trend now, it'll be a Netflix show. So if you read it before the show comes out next year, you can impress all your friends with your knowledge about this subject. So that'll do it for me and this episode. I Heard You Paint Houses by Charles Brandt. I'm going to go ahead and give it a B and recommend it. So if you have any comments or concerns, please go ahead and feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Also, please, if you have any books that you would like me to review or read in review if I haven't read it, please go ahead and ask me to do so, because I would love to do that for you guys. So thanks for watching, and go read a book. Bye, guys.